Hey there, everybody. It's Mark Hepp with CampgroundViews.com. And today I've got a special guest with me, Kathleen Walsh from Advanced Outdoor Solutions. Did I get that right, Kathleen?
Yes, you sure did. That's
Uh,
exactly the name of our company.
so, Kathleen, you probably, if you've visited any in-person trade shows, you probably recognize her. And if you own a larger park, I'm sure you recognize her because she probably helps you. So, Kathleen, give everybody a rundown on what you do and why you're such a busy person.
Sure, happy to. And again, thanks for the invitation. It's a pleasure to join you. Advanced Outdoor Solutions was started back in 2013. After my first career, I spent 20 years as a chief financial officer for a large developer, and we developed Marriott's, outdoor shopping centers, single family residence. And when the recession hit in 2003, we decided to branch out into outdoor hospitality. So I have been in outdoor hospitality almost 20 years now. I have developed RV parks and campgrounds and resorts all across the U.S. We do land plans, designs, market and feasibility studies, and then of course what we love doing is third-party management. So once the doors are open, we become your third-party manager, and thus we are really growing and expanding all across the U.S. and couldn't be more excited.
Yeah, I mean, you're in the right space right now. There's so much professional money coming into this market, and the key thing they need is an operational team to run these parks, right? They have the money, they have the capital, but they don't want to actually run the parks. And they need somebody who can do it right, and that's what you do. You help them from idea, concept, to actually implementation, and then operating the park, correct?
Absolutely. We do everything from soup to nuts. The employees on the park are actually our employees. So we have the employees, we do all the staffing, we do the revenue management, the technology, the marketing. We have regional managers that oversee 5 or 6 properties each. So really the owner's responsibility is to get on a call with us for 1 hour a week. That's it. That's all we really require of our owners.
So, I mean, Kathleen is you could probably guess she's a wealth of information because you run parks all across the country. So you basically have a feel for everything that's going on. And the reality is you're kind of behind the scenes. So, unless folks have met you, they don't know you exist because you're just running these parks for somebody else. And you are a featured speaker at the Glamping Show USA, which is October 13th through 15th, 2020. And glamping is kind of a new thing, but it's not really, especially with your background coming from hotels and all that type of stuff. It's like, yeah, duh, glamping is obviously very important. So talk a little bit about that. What do you see in glamping, and how are you using that for your client parks right now?
Well, it is interesting coming from both an indoor and an outdoor hospitality background. We really take the hotel thinking into the outdoor world. We've actually always done that even before it was in vogue. The very first park I ever developed had glamping components to it. So I've always been a little ahead of my time in this space, I suppose. And so having that background in indoor hospitality really helps us, whether our glamping parks are going to be on the more rustic side or whether they're going to be a full 5-star glamping experience. And we're all across the board. We have very rustic glamping parks right now that want you to get back to nature and not necessarily have all the creature comforts that you have in a hotel. And then on the opposite end, we have people with safari tents where you would think you were at the Waldorf Astoria. So it's really from one extreme to the other, and both can work.
And, to that, we're speaking to a lot of people who own campgrounds or RV parks, and they may have a few glamping tents or some cabins or something like that. But there's a difference between having those and actually providing a glamping experience. Can you talk a little bit about that difference and what you would advise them to start considering doing if they wanted to go full bore glamping experience?
Sure, absolutely. And you're right, there is a large difference. And that's why I'm so excited to present again this year at the Glamping Conference, because when we start working with our glamping resorts, we're able to save them a lot of money and a lot of frustration, because there's just some key things going into it that they should know from the start. It's been interesting this year as I've been working with glamping resorts. I've gone into some that didn't think they needed to have anything for children. And then we immediately recognized that they were going to attract families. And so it changed the whole scenario. It changed the accommodations. It changed the number of people per unit. It changed some of the safety measures. And then we've had ones that It's always fun talking to glamping people because I have to remind them that yes, you want a wide open experience. You want people to be in the great outdoors, but you also need density to make money. And density is almost like for them dropping a curse word, but you have to have the right mix in order for it to work as a business. And so we really help them to take their dream, but also make them realize it has to operate as a business. Your investors and bankers are going to demand that.
That's an interesting perspective. So you bring this bigger world, with your CFO background experience, because it is
Right.
a lot of park owners are mom and pop, right? It's a retirement business. It's you forget the labor part because you're free, right? It's easy to say I'm free, I can just do everything myself, and you're coming in and saying, well, no, you actually have to pay for somebody to do this, and if you get sick, you get injured, how are you going to run your park? And that's probably a big challenge. You probably get pushback on that. And what is your response to that pushback?
Well, I tell you where I get a lot of pushback. It is the great thing about outdoor hospitality is it's such a family-friendly environment and it's so familial. The bad thing about outdoor hospitality is it's so familial. So people become friends with their guests and they become very close. And so when I talk to them about running it like a business or yielding rates for maximum revenue, I get a lot of pushback because they're afraid people will get mad at them. So in the Marriott world, that never crossed our mind. We never thought, oh, we're not going to yield rate on a holiday weekend because people will get mad at us. That happens so often in outdoor hospitality. So getting my owners, particularly my mom and pop, to run it like a business is sometimes one of our greatest challenges.
An interesting, and it is a very good point because you're right. Marriott probably never even considered, oh, they're going to be mad at us. And probably the difference is the scale and the fact that you're not seeing them face to face. What do you advise? Because I just had this conversation with Casey from CampSpot last week about dynamic pricing. How do you, what is, if number one, I mean, right, you'll probably recognize that some people will say, no, I'm not going to do it. And it's their business. They cannot do that. But what do you advise them to consider that ends up guiding them down this route? Because I agree with you, dynamic pricing and yield management is incredibly important because, so a lot of folks, and I'll give some background on why it's important. A lot of folks, they forget that the value of their business, the value of their park is the land's got some value to it, but the real value is actually the cash flow. The amount of money they have coming in, that business ends up determining the price. And so if you're not getting the maximum dollar amount out of that, the value of your business is actually, and it's not just lower, it's significantly lower. I mean, we're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars less than you could be getting if you were on a dynamic pricing model. How do you talk people into that?
Absolutely, because investors are going to come in and pay off cap rate, and cap rate is determined by net operating income. So if your park is not running at optimum efficiency and optimum revenue generation, then you are devaluing your park because if you would want to sell, the cap rate is going to be higher on your park because your NOI is not what it should be. So I really work with my owners to educate them. And that's really what it's about, because so often in the glamping world or outdoor hospitality as a whole, it's really about the dream and the vision. And I'm never here to squash the dream or the vision. I'm here to help bring a dose of reality to the dream and the vision and to help you get your dream and vision financed, because you're not going to be able to go to bankers or savvy investors with a utopian vision that has no basis in reality. So one of the things I really help my glamping folks do is take that dream and vision, marry it with a good business plan, and then both can be accomplished. You can do both. You can have this great vision, great outdoor experiences, open air, but you also have to be cognizant of cost, revenue, average daily rate, site nights sold, all of those things that we live and breathe in the hotel world. Advanced Outdoor lives and breathes in the outdoor world. So it's interesting, but we can do both and do it well.
And there's going to be 800, there's already 800 people registered for the Glamping show. So we're a month out from that event. There's already 800. There's probably going to be about 50, I mean, at this rate, it might be about 1,500 attendees at this event. What will you be talking about and guiding people so that they know, hey, if I do anything, I need to register for the event and I need to go listen to Kathleen? What are they going to learn from you?
I'm so excited about the number of people that have registered. First of all, I loved presenting last year. It was fantastic, and my booth was slammed for 2 days straight. I didn't get to see any of the other vendors because we were so busy. This year's topic, which is just one of my favorite, is turning dreams into destinations. And it really is about taking that idea in your head and getting it to be a viable business. And I'm going to help you in my seminar avoid some of the costly, just really costly mistakes that you can make if you're not educated coming out of the gate. There's a lot of ingredients that go into building a successful business, and we want to give those to you free of charge, something that we used to charge a lot of money for. When you register for the glamping event, you're going to get a lot of information from us that's incredibly valuable, and we've seen it save our clients from disastrous results, whether it be a bad land plan that you have, or just a myriad of things that you might not think about if you weren't in the conference. So we're excited about it.
Yeah, I'm actually, first off, it's a great title. Like, I'm excited to hear it too, because it's also adaptable. If you're not thinking glamping, you're just thinking a few glamping units, it's worth your time. As you know, our team, Campground Views, is on the back end. We're using the same software as the Back to Camping Summit for the glamping show. We're helping them put this event on. And so we don't put our name behind any event. So we're excited about this opportunity. And obviously with the number of registrations, a lot of folks are excited for this event too. Kathleen, how can they reach out to you if they don't go to the glamping show? How can they connect with you if they're an owner, or investor, or just somebody who wants to get some more information about better operating their parks?
Sure. Our website is a wealth of information. It's advanced-outdoor.biz. That's ADVANCED-outdoor.biz. We chose that name on purpose, or I chose that name on purpose. And our tagline is thinking outside the tent. And that is what we do. We're advanced in our thinking, and we think outside of the tent. People should log on. I'm shamelessly going to say they should subscribe to my blog free of charge. I do not e-blast you and bother you, but I do give an awful lot of good information. I do not allow anyone else in my company to blog. When you read our blog, it's me. So I would encourage that. We have an 800 number, 800-579-9796. My assistant, Jenna, will be happy to talk to you and help route you to the right person. But we help owners, developers, mom and pops all across the US, actually getting ready to branch out into Canada, have had some dabblings in the UK. So pretty soon, I think we're going to be able to say worldwide, which is exciting.
Awesome. It's Kathleen Walsh. She'll be a speaker and presenter at the Glamping Show 2020, which will be October 13th through 15th. You can get more information by going to glampingshow.us. It's glampingshow.us, not .com, but .us. I hope you found value in this. Kathleen Walsh is a member of these Facebook groups, so if you want to ask her a question, feel free to comment below. Thank you for your time today, Kathleen.
Thank you. Very much appreciated, and look forward to seeing everyone during the show.